tonight, we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to give you some general insight into what microdaily and micronutrients are all about. So we'll give a nice overview of that. But we're also going to share with you some testimonials, because often we find that people would prefer to hear testimonials more than they would prefer to hear about the science and the how and why it works. They would rather hear what someone else has experienced and someone else has said. So we're going to make sure that we do that for you also. So my name is Jonathan Jones, and my co-host is Jeff Ashby. Jeff Ashby is one of the original affiliates with Engage Global. In fact, he's currently the only ambassador level affiliate with Engage Global. So he's been around here for a minute. And so he knows a little bit something about how and why the products are what they are and what got us to this point. So we're looking forward to getting some comments from Jeff tonight as well. So we believe that some of you will have something to share. But I thought it might be kind of interesting. I know, Jeff, you hopefully have one of your little in your bag of tricks and one of your nice little testimonials lined up. Mm-hmm. But we haven't had a chance to talk with Virginia Gilbo in a little while. And I didn't warn Virginia or ask her if she would be willing to make a comment or two tonight. But she's always so willing to share her story. And I have never seen anyone work as hard as Virginia. And she's at the young age of 91. I think she's 91 going on 85. And so she's figured out a way to turn the clock backwards. And I think it might be good to just see if Virginia would be willing to just briefly tell us your story. Virginia, can we talk you into telling us your story real briefly? You can give us the condensed version of it. Is that okay?
Yes, Jonathan.
Oh, well, wonderful.
I'm not dressed to get on the video, but I don't mind talking.
All right. Well, that's fine. We don't care whether you're on the video or not. So I hear your story.
Well, I just want to say that I don't know if anybody heard my testimony on the video, but I want to say that I will be taking this for the rest of my life, because I'm telling you, I'm walking faster. I went to my rheumatologist the other day, and he could not get over how fast I was walking. Even though I was walking with my wheelchair, when I usually get in his office, I'm barely making it. He said, "Miss Gilbo, what are you doing?" He said, "And look at you, you look so beautiful today." His nurse couldn't get, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Dr. Ravi, what I'm doing is taking something called Micro Daily." He said, "Well, you look beautiful." He said, "And you look different." He said, "Whatever you're doing, you continue to do it." He said, "I never saw you walking that fast." And him and the nurses couldn't get over it. So if my doctor can see the difference, I know that it's nothing but Micro Daily that's causing it, because I've been going to him for God knows when. And this is the first time he has really saw the difference in me. So, like I said, please, everybody, it's not too much more I can say, because this Micro Daily has got me feeling like I am 85. I know I don't feel like I'm 91. One of my nieces said to me, after I went to a party and I was dancing, it's on the video, "Auntie, how do you feel being 91? I said, "Honey, you have to ask somebody older than me, because I can't tell you. So anybody under the sound of my voice, listen, try. If I could start dancing and stepping with a wheelchair, and I'm not going to be using this wheelchair long now, but if I can do it, you can do it. Because God is going to do for you, if you use microdale, He going to do for you exactly what He did for me. It may not seem like it's going as fast with you as it did for me, but just try and see for yourself.
Very good.
That's all I have to say right now.
Okay. Thank you very much. And if we were all in the same room right now, Virginia, you would hear thunderous applause. Because we're excited every time we hear about the progress that you've made. For those who have not heard Virginia tell her story, the first time she shared it, it was painful because she said that it would took a tremendous amount of effort for her just to get up out of the bed and go to the bathroom, and she'd catch her breath and then she'd brush her teeth. And she said after about just a few days on Micro Daily, she said she got up, went to the bathroom, brushed her teeth, and came back and sat down and said, wait a minute, what just happened? She had to think about it, that it had that much of an effect on her that she had not gone through that same routine that she normally does. And so now she's getting better and better and better, dancing at parties and walking like she had never walked before. And the doctor from sight is noticing that something else is going on. So thank you very much, Virginia, for sharing that update for us. We look forward to more updates from you, especially once you start getting past the 80s now. So right now you're around at 85, and we want to see when that clock hit around 80. And then when you get back to the 70s, now you make sure you give us some more updates, okay? All right. So Jeff, what else you got?
I certainly will.
Thank you. What else you got up your sleeve, Jeff, that you want to share?
Hey, sorry about that. I had another phone call come in, and my goodness, are we ever excited about the results that we're seeing? You know what? I shared this earlier today on Lunch and Learn, and it goes back to a couple that is just really close to Helen and I. And one of the I guess the biggest joys that I get being here, being part of Engage, is our ability to reference one of the patents, that patent number 7605145. And Jonathan, you know exactly, because you've thrown that number out there enough, you've got it memorized like I do, but it has to do with a condition that pretty much a third of this country or more are struggling with or battling. And this morning on Lunch and Learn, or at noon, depending on where you are in the country, I shared the story of some good friends of ours. And let me just pull this up for everybody here tonight. Pretty amazing. This couple is actually the people that we approached and enrolled in the business, and because of who they knew. And then who they knew, Catrice Johnson and Corleen Chavis's entire teams are underneath this couple. So it's kind of like in the family that our Micro Daily family here, they would be some grandparents of people that are really enjoying the benefits of these products. And
wow.
So let me just share Art and Carol with you. We were just in their home at this point, and I just held up my phone in front of them, and this is what they shared with us. So,
my name is Arthur Letke. This is my wife Carol, and we're both diabetic and have had amazing results. Our blood sugars went down over 30 points. my neuropathy in my feet was gone in about 10 days and just felt incredible. The energy levels, everything just went up. I'm gonna let Carol share her experiences with the Micro Daily with her.
Yes, and once again, my name is Carol, and I have 9 brothers and sisters that all have, basically most of them have type 2 diabetes. And my first experience was just so awesome that I couldn't ignore what was going on. My neuropathy had really been bothering me for years. And when I started taking the product, Micro Daily, I took the capsules in the beginning. My neuropathy, I can honestly say within 2 weeks, my feet were not hurting me anymore. And I got so excited. And we hooked up with our great upline, Jeff and Helen Ashby, and we traveled with them a lot. And every day, Art and I would say, we're not going to go a day without taking Micro Daily. And we did, and we were faithful, and we will always be faithful. Art just turned 72, and I'm turning 70 in 6 days. And we actually have more energy than what we did years ago before we got on this. And I really noticed it when I went to a family wedding last month, and there was a DJ there, and I danced straight for 3 hours. I was not tired. I have noticed a real boost in my energy and in Arthur's energy. And we are getting proactive in a lot of different avenues in our life. And I'm just going, what? What are we going to be like when we turn 75, Art? So this works. We love it. And we love sharing it. And people that just don't give it the chance that they should, we get really frustrated, but we just say, you know what? It's their choice. We always say you can't lead a horse to water, you know?
No, you can lead a horse.
Oh, you can lead a horse. I get things
But you
back.
can't make it drink.
You can't make it drink. So this is my testimony, and my testimony of this company, and my testimony is real. It's the truth. And we welcome anybody that is wanting to make a life change. Give it a chance. It's real. It's truth. Thank you.
It works.
Wow. That's pretty remarkable. And not enough can be said about that. And Jeff, when we look at a testimonial like that, and it's clear that they're just sharing their personal story. There's nothing, no fluff, nothing made up about it, nothing. So it's just pure sincerity. And here you have it, folks. Jeff didn't give me this patent. I went online to search for it myself, and it took a minute to finally find it, but I did. And I thought it was just one of the most amazing things, a real United States patent. And that's right. The number is 7605145. That's the patent number. It was issued by the United States government. And as you can see in the title, it says micronutrient formulations for treatment of diabetes mellitus. When you see the word treatment in something, because see, testimonials are anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to another person. The FDA is not evaluating any of the comments that are being made. We're not making any claims that Micro Daily or any of the supplements we talk about will cure or treat any disease. Now, we say that because by law, we have to insert that. If we don't inform you of that, then that would mean that we've stepped out of bounds and given you the impression that some micronutrient could treat or cure a disease. And we're telling you that what we're sharing with you is for information, educational, and entertainment purposes only. That's all this is. I'm not a doctor, Jeff's not a doctor. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. But the law does allow us to inform you about something that is factual like this. And if we show you the entire patent, the law says that's okay. And then you can draw your own conclusions. That's why we have to do this. We show it to you, you draw your own conclusions. But there's a title. Can you see it? Micronutrient formulations for the treatment of diabetes mellitus. There it is. And the formulator's name, the inventor, Dr. Kedar N. Prasad. He's listed right there on the patent. So the first time I met Jeff, he was going through a really nice presentation. It really was a nice presentation. But I'm one of those people where, and at that time I just really was not interested in the least bit. And I'm a little bit embarrassed sometimes to say it, but I tell the story just so that you know it's real. And all I'm doing is being real, because I did not want to talk to Jeff. I didn't want to talk to anybody because I had products that I thought were already the best. So I didn't need another product. But when Jeff in his presentation got to the point where I saw the words patent for diabetes, I interrupted Jeff and I said, "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but please don't even bother telling me the rest of your presentation. Tell me more about that. I don't want to hear anything else. Tell me about that right there. Are you trying to tell me that this stuff has a patent that has the word treatment in it?" He said, he looked at me like I was kind of crazy. Well, yeah, I just told you that's what the patent name was. Yeah, what? It was as if that was a minor thing to him. It was earth-shattering to me. It was the biggest thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. And I'd been around the industry now for, at that time, probably 30 years. And I've been going all over the country giving lectures on the immune system. I knew that diabetes was an autoimmune disease. I knew that that's the category that it fell into. In fact, that's what got me away from computer electronics and engineering and into the wellness industry, because when I watched my mother die, the intensive care nurse said, when I asked her what was she doing for my mom, she said, "Well, we're praying for her immune system to kick in." I couldn't believe my ears. $10,000 a day and they were praying. I'm a firm believer in the power of prayer. I had that covered. That was already taken care of. I figured the medical facility design that was in position being paid by the insurance companies was doing a little bit more than offering prayers. And she told me what the real deal was. They needed something that they didn't have, an immune system kicker-inner. And that told me I was in the wrong line of work. I was in the wrong line of work because there's nothing that I could have done. There's no piece of computer equipment that I could have conjured up that would have altered what was going to happen that day. My mother would not live another day. She died that day because they didn't have an immune system kicker-inner. And now I'm sitting in my dining room table with some couple I've never met before in my life from Utah. I've only been to Utah once in my life, Provo. And here they are in my driveway, in my dining room. And this man says to me that this vitamin has a patent with the words treatment for diabetes mellitus. And I said, "Tell me about that." He said, "Well, who do you know that has diabetes?" I said, "Who doesn't have diabetes?" He said, "I'll tell you what, just give me some names. Give me some names of some people who have diabetes." I said, "I can give you 4 off the top of my head." Gave him 4 names, 4 addresses. They overnighted or shipped out 4 packages to 4 different people. And within 2 weeks, they all said the exact same thing. Every one of them said the same thing. I said, "Okay, how do I start?" That's it. That was done. It was 2016. And that was my first introduction. The product was called Military Micronutrient Formulation at the time. The reason it was called that was because the product was made for the military. In fact, let me just show you briefly in this little brochure. Let's see if we can get this thing to work right. Oh, I know what happened. It's sitting here confused. Hang on a second. I have to talk my computer into behaving itself. The product was originally made for the military. And inside the brochure that I want to show you some images from, it'll give you some idea of the overall background and history of the product. Yeah, here we go. Let's try this again. The title of this brochure, it was prepared by Engage Global. Engage Global, the micronutrient company. And they entitled this thing, Daily Nutrition to Live Your Best Life. Daily nutrition to live your best life. And it's a powerful statement that they put there. And again, I'm just trying to be real with you folks. I never paid attention to this brochure. I never paid attention to the title. I never paid attention to any of the details until I started giving more presentations on it. And the conclusion that I personally have been drawing was that this product essentially is the food that's missing from our food. So that's what's special about it, which in effect says it is not special. Unless you can wrap your mind around the fact that we don't get nutrition in our food anymore. You can go to the health food store, and I have a client and consultant who works at a health food store. She'd been working at it for years, and she was suffering with terrible toxicity. And she's got hundreds and hundreds of products all around her every day that she has to sell. And she was getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and not one single thing in that entire health food store was helping her. It wasn't until she found the food that was missing from her food, real nutrition in the form of Micro Daily, did her own health and life start to turn around. And she's been telling people about the product ever since. So she was one of the first ones that eventually decided to give this product a try. In addition to my sister-in-law, and others who had diabetes, that all said that they never saw their fasting sugar levels work the way that they were, as low as it was before. They had never seen it. It was unbelievable to them that they got the kind of results they did in such a short period of time. In fact, Rochelle, my sister-in-law, called Helen. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and she left this message screaming in her voicemail that she could not believe the effect that Micro Daily had on her fasting blood sugar levels. This is the food that's missing from our food. Now, it was originally developed not for the general public, and that's really where the story begins and ends. I did not know how significant that statement was until recent months. Because if you're in the pharmaceutical industry, I know this for a fact because I've had conversations face to face with product reps and the people who are the decision makers in the pharmaceutical companies. If they can't see a path that they're going to be making somewhere in the area of $50 billion off of a particular drug, they won't do anything with it. If it's only going to make them $500 million, $1 or $2 billion, they won't do it. It's got to really make them some significant money. A vitamin company would not be in business if they made a vitamin that cost somewhere in the area of $100. That's not good business. So they make a vitamin that barely qualifies as a vitamin. The idea is for people to take it, feel a little bit better, but still stay useful to the system. So it does do something, but it doesn't do all that it could do. So when the United States government put the word out that they needed a vitamin to keep soldiers in the battlefield in optimal health, not one vitamin manufacturer stepped up and took up the challenge of producing that vitamin. Not one. The only one who did was Dr. Kedar Prasad, the only person who said, I can do that. I can meet that challenge. This was not about you and me, folks. It was not about the general public. This was not about, you know what? Virginia Gilboa is, let's see, that would have been about 20 years ago? Oh, she's in her late 60s, early 70s now. We should be thinking about these baby boomers who are starting to age. Let's make something that's going to make their life better. Because you know something, by the time they get into their 80s and their 90s, they're going to be out of breath. They're going to be facing congestive heart failure. They're going to be facing arthritis like they've never experienced before. They're going to suffer memory loss. They're going to have neuropathy out of control. Let's make something to make the baby boomers who are aging feel better, help them to have a better quality of life. Now, I'm telling you right now, if that conversation had happened in any company back 25, 30 years ago, whoever brought it up would have been out of a job, would have been laughed out of the company. Are you crazy? We can't make any money off that. But again, that's not what the conversation was. The conversation was about the soldiers on the battlefield. So they made this military micronutrient formulation. And that's what it looked like. This right here. This is what the whole plan was. It was just for them. So 2001, Department of Defense put the request out. 2003, safety tests were completed, animal studies completed. 2004, vice versa, flip that around. By 2005, human clinical trials were completed. And finally, by 2006, the product was being used by the military. It involved 6 years of testing. And it also involved, look at the next line there. I really should have just started with the next line after that. 9 months of safety testing with the U.S. Military Internal Review Board. Would not have done that for the general public. Dr. Prasad would not have had to prove that there was no contraindication with any pharmaceutical drugs if this was being made for the general public. But because it was being made for the military, he had to jump through hoops and practically walk on water to get past them. And then and only then did the Congress pony up $12 million for it. Then it took another $12 million. So $24 million total invested in this. And after all was said and done, it came out of the bank with 7 U.S. patents, all awarded to Dr. Prasad. He came up with something that was unique in 7 different ways. And so unique that the word treatment was included in the title of the patent. This is the man right here that did that. And he's no small fry. He's no small fry. We're not going to go through his accolades now. You can see it right there on the screen. The one that I really want to just point your attention to is this one right here. Invited member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee in the candidates for medicine. They don't just extend that invitation to anybody. They wouldn't even call my name. They wouldn't know my phone number. I would know nowhere in the conversation when it comes to Nobel Peace Prize. Now, I think I'm able to make a suggestion or two here and there. Not, but this man, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He's come up with 250 different things that other brilliant scientists have never thought of. Published 250 times in peer review publications. And his newest publication, we're going to be talking about that on January the 15th, part 1. Then on part 2, a week later. So his newest publication, all on anti-aging. Remember, folks, nobody sat down 20 years ago and said, let's come up with a way to make the life of aging baby boomers better. Let's make sure that when Virginia Gilboa is at her last leg, at her wit's end, that she has something that she can tap into. Nobody had that conversation. We're not supposed to have this. The only reason we have it is because of these 2 gentlemen right here. So Dr. Prasad, the brain, David Nemelka, the brawn. He had the money. Wealthy venture capitalists. These 2 gentlemen came together. Engage Global was born. The military, the government, dropped the contract for MMF. If another company was not David Nemelka, was another company, if they had not stepped in to grab the pile of the product, it would have been buried in a warehouse somewhere. And then David Nemelka told us maybe about 2 months or so ago, got the phone call and said, David, because he was a venture capitalist, he was investing in businesses. We have something here you might want to look at for yourself. he took a look at it. He said, yeah, I want that for myself. That's how this product is available to us today. It's not supposed to be here. So I really just, I'm milking that because I really think you need to know that. I think you need to know that because it was not clear to me. When Irene called me and said, you need to talk to Jeff and Helen, they've got this vitamin that was only available to the military, but now it's available to the public. I mean, yeah, whatever is what I said. I did not understand the significance of that statement. I do now, and I think you all should know. So that's why this product is unusual. Just earlier today, I was talking to a he didn't say physical therapist, but some sort of a therapist, some kind of a therapist, and he deals in the brain and back injury world. And I said, what's your biggest concern? He said, energy. I need more energy. I said, but if I told you that there was a supplement that had an effect on someone who suffered from an ischemic stroke and had lost the whole left use of the use of their left side, would you find that extraordinary? He said, that's unbelievable. He said, I need to know about that right now. I've got all kinds of clients who need to know about this. I said, so you'd find that unusual? He said, I find that very unusual. And what if it worked within the first week? He said, that's amazing. I said, what if it worked a year after the person had a stroke? He said, that's incredible. What if it worked 11 years after the person had a stroke? He said, send me the information. So this is not normal. What we have is not normal. It's not just a multivitamin. And but don't take my word for it. Again, this is just for education, information, and entertainment purposes only. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research if you want to. Check it out. The thing I like about these ingredients is this one right here, N-acetylcysteine. It raises lymphocytic glutathione. So the company that I used to work for when I was flying all over the country giving lectures on the immune system, they had a product that all it did was raise glutathione levels. Phenomenal product. Phenomenal product. I saw that stuff practically raise the dead, but I also saw many times that it didn't do any good whatsoever. But the main thing it did was it raised glutathione levels. This raises glutathione levels. It has an impact on every endogenous antioxidant your body makes, but it also supplies a plethora of exogenous antioxidants. So you are having an impact on inflammation and oxidative stress all at the same time. Dr. Prasad says that's significant. I didn't realize the level of significance, but it is significant that it's happening all at once, impacting endogenous antioxidants and exogenous antioxidants all at the same time. Inflammation and oxidative stress, free radicals, all being impacted simultaneously. That's a big deal. Dr. Prasad also chose to put vitamin E succinate in the product. Vitamin E succinate just happens to be cytotoxic to cancer cells. So that's also a major deal. This is the only product that meets the CQF standard. The right combination, right quantity, and right form. So it doesn't matter what other vitamin you have, it does not meet the CQF standard. It does not do so. And I'm not going to go through too much detail with this. The fact that there's a children's gummy is a big deal because I don't care what other children's gummy vitamin you find out there, it does not have a fraction of the nutrients that this has in it. Not a fraction of the nutrients. So doesn't matter how cheap it is, you can get 5 for $1. Doesn't matter. It's garbage. This is the only one that has any real value. So, by the way, I've noticed something. If I take a pack of those gummies after a meal, so I keep them around now. I used to kind of laugh at Jeff saying that he was, popping them like they were gumballs. I'm not laughing anymore. Because when I open up a pack of these after I eat dinner or whatever, I'm doing that more now since Dr. Prasad made me feel so bad 2 weeks ago when he mentioned what happens in our gut when we consume something that has nitrites, bacon, sausage, whatever. It combines with something called amine that's already in our system. If those two things combine combined, one is a cancer promoting, initiating agent, and the other one is a cancer promoting agent. The only way to disrupt that is to make sure you have vitamin E, and other antioxidants in your system to interrupt the combination of those two together, because that starts the clock ticking. So that within the next 10 to 15 years, you literally could develop cancer from that combination happening. I've noticed, though, that when I chew some of these after eating, I can't even believe it. It's like, that kind of lethargic feeling you sometimes get after you eat, and you just really want to just settle down for a little minute and let your body just handle what just hit it. Chew a pack of these. Just get yourself 4 of these and chew it after your meals and watch what happens. No more sugar lows, no more sugar highs. You just feel good. You just feel good. Even keel. I cannot believe it. So every time I eat now, I do this. I had some ice cream the other day. I don't do a lot of sugar stuff, but I used to eat buckets of ice cream. Okay, that was just my thing. But the other day I had a little bowl of ice cream, and I ate a pack of these afterwards. Unbelievably even keel. No problems whatsoever. Just totally even. No spike. No. Just even keel every time. So highly recommend, get those gummies. So it's not just for kids. The microdaily EMF, by the way, the children's gummy is based off this formula, the EMF formula. That's what this is, the gummies are, okay? 2 packs equal 1 dose. So 8 of them is 1 full dose, okay? So when you eat 1 after a meal, that's half a dose. You have another pack after another meal, that's another half a dose. So you've gotten in your second dose for the day. And but I still take 6 in the morning, and I eat a couple of packs of these later in the day, and then I'll take 3 of the original microdaily just at bedtime. But what happened? We're going to be talking to Dr. EMF himself on January the 8th. Mark it on your calendars, folks. January the 8th, Sunday, 5 o'clock. Dr. EMF, that's Dr. Russell Korp. He's the gentleman who knows more about the brain than most people have ever heard of. He is the inspiration behind the EMF formula being developed. It was him and his information and conversations with Dr. Prasad that caused Dr. Prasad to add the additional 4 ingredients to microdaily to come up with the EMF formula. So we'll be talking to Dr. EMF himself on January the 8th at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The reason we need this is because current 5G technology is 700 times more powerful than the original cell phone technology. 700 times more powerful. You remember the original cell phones? The original cell phones was like a microwave under your car seat. Like you're sitting on a radioactive reactor. So very dangerous and deadly. And 5G technology is 700 times more powerful than that. We're being fried unless you're putting EMF, microdaily EMF in your body. And we know that this is the case. By the way, this CBD is phenomenal. The methylated formula, incredible. So is the hydro. The brain boost, can't say enough about it. And we'll talk to Dr. EMF about this also. But let's talk about this radiation for just 1 second. These 2 rabbits here, number 1 and number 2, both were exposed to massive amounts of radiation. This was a test, a scientific test being done at the Space Center in NASA. Dr. Prasad described this entire process to us. These 2 rabbits were slammed with lethal amounts of radiation. Both of them died. But one of them, you guess which one? They both were fed their last meals. Well, one of them was given the food that's missing from food. One of them has lungs that looks like he's been smoking a pack of cigarettes every hour all his life. The other one, his lungs look fresh and normal. Can you figure out which one was given the food that's missing from our food? If you guessed bunny rabbit number 2, oh, I see it's on the screen there. It says placebo, number 1, and antioxidants, number 2. Okay, so I guess it wasn't a big challenge. But anyway, if you guessed number 2, you were right. Even if you read the word antioxidants underneath the bottom of it. Bunny number 2 was given the food that's missing from our food. And look at what his lungs look like. My question to you, Who knows what an MRI is? Who knows what a CT scan is? Who knows what a PET scan is? Who knows what an X-ray is? It's called radiation, ionized radiation. That's what happens to our body when we're exposed to radiation. Now, in this case, it was a lot, but it was still radiation. So we recommend you take microdaily EMF before you go get any medical procedure, and take it afterwards also, especially if it involves radiation. And here's that patent that we just showed you earlier. It's also listed right here in this brochure. So everyone who's on this call has access to this same brochure that you're looking at right now. So just ask the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll give you a copy, or they'll get you a copy of this, either digital or a hard copy of this brochure, so that you have all this same information at your fingertips. So this is nothing special that I have. We all have the access to the same information. Look at the books that Dr. Prasad has written. One here on fighting diabetes, one on fighting Alzheimer's, one on fighting heart disease, one on fighting cancer, several on cancer. I mean, all over the place, there's a bunch of books here on cancer. His latest book is on memory loss and dementia. Go to Amazon, you should find that one, by the way. I would highly recommend that one. Go to Amazon and get that book now. Excuse me, highly recommend it. So that's the long and the short of it. It's all I want to just run by you and let you all see that Dr. Prasad has been absolutely no joke. And this has been, it's amazing. It's amazing that we even have access to this and can share it with people that we care about. So let's do this. We're gonna take a couple of your questions before we wrap up our discussion, but I think we have one more testimonial that we want to share with you also. So Jeff, if you have another one up your sleeve, you can pull that out. But if anyone has questions right now, go ahead and raise your hand while Jeff is queuing up this another testimonial for us. Feel free. Don't be bashful. There's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the unasked question. Some people say, well, how much does it cost? Talk to the person who invited you. The best way to get it is by subscription. Then you get a discount. Discount, discount, discount. Love the discounts. Stay on it for 90 days. Some people have asked the question, well, how long should I take this stuff? Better once I take it? You're better than not taking it, yeah. But every day you're eating food that has no nutrition, that has no food in it. Right? If you want to put food back in your food, or if you just want to keep eating play food. I'm just going to put it that way. Sorry. So Ms. Slaughter, please go ahead. Let's get your question in while Jeff is getting ready with his testimony he wants to share with us.
Then I started taking the microdaily EMF. I've been studying all the products, so that I can learn how to talk to people about it. And the methylated, I looked at that. My question is, I do have the methylene
MTHFR gene. Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm tested. Yeah, I got that. So
good.
How do that take the place of the EMF? Although I have a problem too with EMF. So how do I take the try the methyl, and then what do I do with the EMF? And I mean, how do you let me save you on this one.
The EMF has all of the methylated technology in it. It's got the methylated bees in it. So everything in methylated is in EMF.
Okay.
So they started with the original formula.
Mm-hmm.
Then they methylated the bees, B9 and B12, and came up with the methylated formula. Then starting with the methylated formula, Dr. Prasad made the EMF formula.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Like, what do I do here? Okay.
You're missing absolutely nothing by taking the EMF. You're getting the best of all of it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good question. All right, Jeff.
So I was just thinking in regards to the just tremendous experience that we were shared with earlier tonight. Goodness, Virginia just did an amazing job, and we're all touting her age. Well, there was another experience. I don't get a chance to share it too often, but I had a conversation just yesterday, in fact, a couple of them, with Priscilla, and she talks about her mother-in-law. And I'm thinking that this could be quite fitting tonight, as we're looking at those people that have become a little more vintage in age. And so let's see Priscilla's mother-in-law's experience. Here we
The
go.
leading edge of the baby boomers.
My husband, mom going into emergency surgery last week. You know, we started my mother-in-law the same time that we got involved and started using Microdaily last year in November. And she's 93 years old. She's still in the Hawaiian Islands. She's in the Big Island. And she's still active. When I mean active, she's still able to walk and go to the restroom and perform her personal care. Unfortunately, she basically slipped and fell as she was using her walker, and she fractured her hip. Now, what I want to say is that in 2018 and 19 and the beginning of 2020, my mother has had lung issues. She's had lung problems. She had congestive heart failure. All during this time, she had been intubated. She had been intubated 9 times. And in the duration of those 3 years, and in 2020, and you know, she had hypertension and so forth. So when we started her on the Microdaily, we had asked our family to stop whatever medication that she was taking. And they did. I've been guiding them in regards to my mother-in-law's health. And when it happened that she went into the emergency room because of the fractured hip, I guess, praise God that she didn't break her hip, but she had to have a metal plate put into her hip, which is invasive. So the family's concerned, and we were all on a Zoom call discussing this, whether or not she would go on, whether or not we would make the decision for her to have this surgery, because everybody's concern was the fact that she was diagnosed with all of these ailments. So I finally was able to speak to her medical doctor, and also to the surgeon. And I asked them, I said, she's 93 years old. You know, how safe is this surgery going to be for her? And what is going to be the recovery time? And do you feel at 93 she can handle this surgery? And to my surprise, he said, we ran all the tests on your mom. Her heart is strong. She doesn't have diabetes at this current time, and there are no scarring in her lungs. I almost flipped when they told me this. And I said, but doc, and he said, I understand your concerns, but there is nothing in her lab work that shows that she is not able to have this. She's a good candidate, even at 93 years old. So whatever you guys have been doing, it has helped her because she is a strong woman. And he said this, he says, although she's 93, he says she has a heart of a young woman. That's what he said. And so I went back to the family and I told them everything that he said. And so everybody agreed, let's go for it. Let's do the surgery for her. Because it was, and when I said this, when I asked him if the recovery after, if we didn't do this, and he says, you know, Priscilla, if you guys don't do this, you're going to kill your mom from the conventional painkillers that I'm going to have to prescribe her for the rest of her life. So we need to do the surgery. And so praise God. I'll say this, Jeff, product is safe for every age. It's safe for our kapunas, our elderly, our manamkos. It's safe for even our keikis. It's safe for all of our nennies, our babies. So I'm just, I am just so, I have so many testimonies of my own, but I wanted to share this because this is what I'm going to be resonating. I've got experiences now, being on the product over 90 days. That is why he says, Dr. Prasad says, we need to be on the product and give it a try for 90 days. And I'm going to say this, it's a product I'm going to be on with my family and everybody that comes into my path. I'm going to recommend to do this for the rest of our life.
Wow. She says her ninnies and kahunas and kinkies.
Yeah. Hawaiian. I mean, it's just, she's the absolutely wants to include every family member, no matter what their age. So,
Wow.
and at almost 94, for the doctors to say she has the heart of a young woman, to have the lungs, and it creates scar tissue to be intubated. It is just and to have gone through what she has, it's pretty amazing. So
yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. So that's the oldest one now that we know of that was on the product. So at 93. And so Virginia,
we've got others. We've got others over 100.
Yeah, there we go. So we need to hear some of those stories of those over 100 at some point too. So we'll just have us a senior night one day and just talk to the seniors and show them the benefits of it. So that's fantastic, Jeff. Thank you for sharing that one. So let's see. While we have a couple more minutes, anyone has any question? We've got 2 minutes here. We can answer 1 or 2 questions real quick before we wrap up our discussion. So keep in mind, this Thursday night, Jeff and I are going to be talking about long COVID. You want to be here? Long COVID. We'll be talking about that at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I haven't learned how to do the math in reverse to go across the to the West Coast. It's 3 p.m. on the West Coast.
3, 4, 5, 6. So
3, 4, 5, 6.
For me, it's going to be 4 o'clock in the late afternoon, early evening, but a great time.
All the way out there in YOU.MAY.
Yeah. Exactly.
28 degrees below zero.
Oh,
incredible.
Somebody.
Incredible. So we'll be talking about long COVID this Thursday at 5 p.m. So you got anybody that's dealing with brain fog? Anyone that's dealing with chronic obstructive pulmonary disorders or any sort of respiratory issues that they're dealing with as a result of that, any neurological issues that they're suffering as a result of being a long hauler, you want to have them here this coming Thursday.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back on Sunday, 5 o'clock. Because I don't think cancer takes any time off. So we'll be here at 5 o'clock on Sunday for anybody who wants to join us. Just come on. We'll be answering some questions. In fact, we're going to be doing another editorial rewind on Dr. Prasad's cancer discussion. So we did that this past weekend. We're going to be doing it again this coming Sunday at 5 o'clock for any who want to get a breakdown of Dr. Prasad's discussion. All right.
Absolutely.
Other meetings.
And I'm also just going to maybe let the cat out of the bag a little early here. David has mentioned it, but we can tell you, those of you that are considering or who have people that are considering becoming affiliates, it's the affiliate join price is going to go up as soon as we hit the new year. So if anybody's sitting on the fence, now's the time to kind of basically lock in that annual fee, and that annual fee will cover them until next December.
Yeah.
But it's going to be cheaper if it's done in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now's the time. Don't wait. Don't wait. It's going to be a price increase if you do otherwise. Any other meetings that we need to tell them about for this coming week that you don't know?
Tomorrow night is going to be the testimonial call with Dr. Prasad. We've already discussed that. So yeah, I'm just super excited about this next year, but finish this year out strong.
That's it. All right, everybody. So just keep in mind, the FDA is not evaluating any of these comments. This was showing purpose. Anything we say because Micro Daily, F, Age Global, nothing that we talked about is a treatment or cure. We advise of professionals that you trust. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Jeff.